I also like breathing exercises like timing your S's, timing your Z's, timing your ABC. Don't make me close one more door. I don't want to hurt anymore. Hi, it's Angie here from Angie's Vocals, and today we're going to talk about high note mastery. So techniques to help you sing higher without strain. So we're going to use a few tools just to show you how to do that. Click subscribe, hit your notifications so you know when we're releasing more materials, and please put comments and questions in so we can answer for them. We have a look at them, respond, and create content from what you're asking for. So I'd love to answer your questions. And also you can jump into our link tree if you want to have a look at ways to get hold of more of our materials. Okay, so let's get into it. So first I'm going to introduce techniques for relaxing the throat muscles to reach those high notes without strain. This is a really big one because strain is one of the main things that stops us from hitting those high notes. So let's start with, I like tongue out. And you've probably heard me talk about tongue out before because we've got all these muscles that are squeezing and we don't know they're squeezing until half an hour, an hour into our singing. But if we can start to practice with our tongue out, those muscles are being held back, the ones that we can't feel or we can't control yet. So it means you'll hit your milestones and your freedom 3 to 6 months earlier, because by the time you can work out how to unlock that, that's about how long it takes before you're starting to learn how to relax it, right? But if we can get your tongue out, it's already disconnecting them so you can learn. Now, this is really important in a mirror because often you go, I know that I have, and your tongue pulls it back in because it's squeezing. So sometimes you've got to hold your tongue. I know that I have a purpose. Or with your scales, even more important with your scales, because so many people do their scales wrong. So they're actually creating tension, and that's why it takes longer for it to unlock, right? So if you can do your scales with your tongue out, and don't worry if it's going all over the place, that's okay. The more you relax here, the less that'll happen. So you want to pull it out and go softer until it feels like it's smooth. But don't worry if it's jumping all over the place, because often the pitch issues are because of the squeezing. So when you pull your tongue out, you've got to pitch in a new way. So lean into it, and it does take a couple of weeks for that to work. The way your voice learns, it's got to do something new 40 times, right? To learn that muscle air balance, to learn these new things when we've got the muscles out of the way. So don't worry if it flips around, just give it an opportunity to learn slowly and 40 times. So that's one of my favorites, the tongue out. The other one I like is ugly, sirens, that reduce the strain if you do it right. And then those nasally, I like those. And what you've got to remember is it sounds terrible. You're never going to sing like that. But what it does, it recruits the right combination of muscles for you to be able to learn to hit those high notes without the push from here. It's much harder to squeeze when you're doing uglies. Sometimes you've got to do it with your tongue out. Those nasty sounds. And you might try the nay, 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 nay. So that will really help with reducing the strain. I'm just going to grab my cup. I really find cup exercises help reduce the strain, particularly with that air pressure. Super light, not about volume. I find that releases this as well. But you saw my cheeks were puffy, like it's got to be big. And then you want to copy where your voice went. Or you're learning gently how to navigate those new areas. Now you can have a look at my video on cup exercise. It'll just show you a bit more on how to do that. But anything relaxed. And don't fixate on pitch, because we're trying to navigate those areas. So pitch sometimes isn't the issue. Yes, so Anyway, have fun with that, but that tongue out I just find is so effective for people when they're working at home. Did you know you can book us one-on-one, me or one of my team, to really fast track your progress? So many people are using tips and kind of guessing, but really with the guidance of a coach, just like going to the gym, you'll fast track your progress and really unlock things with clarity and guidance. We'd so love to help you. Why don't you DM us or send us a message and let's get you started. Okay, now I'm going to explain the importance of proper breathing when you're singing the high notes. Now this is a key. I like to think of it as a periscope. So your voice needs to be supported from your diaphragm, which sits just under the lungs. It's paper thin, right? And it sits just under the lungs. So when you breathe in, it drops down, and you actually don't even need to isolate it because you are using your diaphragm all day, every day. It's incredibly strong. Where the issue is that we've got all this squeezing happening here, or we're doing different things that we're leaning on. So the diaphragm's fine. The breathing is actually being squeezed. So when we get those muscles out of the way, we start to find proper breathing works a whole new way. We don't tend to run out of air as much. When we're singing correctly, when it's squeezing, we don't run out of air as much. So if we try that tongue out, we're going to do a siren. And what you want to do is feel it here on your breath support. And tongue out, even a little bit of that, you might like that fry. But we're just going to put tongue out. Don't let it go back in. If you need a mirror, get a mirror so you can see what your tongue's doing. Nice deep breath. And we go, and you should be able to feel it here. That's the support system. And that air, remember for some of you, if you're using too much air, you might need to take a deep breath and then let 80% out. Because we still need to be breathing deeply, right? Because we have to oxygenate. Otherwise, while we're singing, our air will run out. Now, I also like breathing exercises like timing your S's, timing your Z's, timing your ABCs, and starting to track those because they're all training the muscles and the airflow to work in a more consistent and manageable way. And that will start to connect with your singing. It takes about 3 months before those exercises. So at first it feels very separate, but it'll really start to give you mastery of your breathing. So when we hear people doing these songs, don't let me close one more door. Don't make me close one more door. That's right, isn't it? Don't make me close one more door. I don't want to hurt anymore. All that is breath control. So if you've got too much air escaping or not enough air or there's pressure, that's going to go deep. If I do it with lots of air escaping, don't make me close one more. You can hear too much escaping. I don't want to hurt anymore. I've lost all my control. I'm running out of air. The clarity's not there. I can't move as much. So it's so important that that air control and learning how to use that when you're singing is essential. And you'll run out of air, not being able to hold high notes. If you can get them right, you just run out of air. Whereas when you've got good chord closure and your air control right, you can hold for ages, long time. And that's how you know when the riffs are easier and effortless, right? When there's no air pressure escaping. So breathing's so important. Now I'm going to discuss common mistakes singers make when they're attempting high notes and how to correct them. This is a big thing because this is really where I find singers get breakthrough. The common mistakes really are taking that big breath and you're going for a high note and all the pressure's here. A high note needs less air, right? So what we want to do is take a deep breath, let it all out. And so you've got that power when you go for the high notes. But if I did that with a deep breath, which causes thinking, it's going to get stuck, right? And if you hit it, or you might go, and it jumps right off, right? So we want to let that air while we're learning because there's too much air. The other problem and mistake that people make when they're going for high notes is they think they've got to go up. And often the high notes, you actually feel them back and very forward. So when I'm doing that, I want to swing. Take a breath, let it out. I want to swing from the chandelier, chandelier. I'm feeling that right at the back and right at the front. So if I do chandelier, I'll try it again. I'll try it for you. I want to swing from the chandelier, chandelier. It's almost in that open screen place, right? And I feel it coming right out the back. The pressure here is so strong. And I've got to watch not pressing, like it's got to be less pressure for that power. Now you might find even putting your ears in when you're doing that, you'll actually find as you relax, it'll get bigger and bigger and easier because it's got to be effortless. And as I often say, there's 5 to 10 different tools. So you might use one that works one week, but then it's not working the next week. So the key is to keep rolling them because we overdo them, right? So we've got to keep shuffling until we get that unlock and things get easier. Have an amazing day. I can't wait to hear how you're going with your high notes. Hopefully you've loved this content, and we have so much more because we want to help you unlock your singing voice. So feel free to subscribe, like, comment, and we've got lots of content. There's a course you can jump into that we've made really affordable so you can learn the steps to unlock your singing and your voice, or you can book me one-on-one if you need that clarity and that direction to unlock faster. Either way, can't wait to see you in the next video.